I want to go to Neverland, said Wendy excitedly. Michael and John also must come. The next moment, she woke up her brothers and told them about Neverland. But first, you all must learn how to fly, said Peter seriously. Quickly, he sprinkled some fairy dust on the three children. The next moment, they started flying around the nursery. Are you ready to go? Asked Peter. Yes, came the reply. Then off they flew towards Neverland, flying high amongst the fluffy clouds over the boundless sea. After a long flight, they reached Neverland. Look, a pirate ship! Cried John. It's Hook's ship, Jolly Roger. He's my enemy, said Peter proudly. Soon they landed amidst a cluster of trees with hollow trunks. We live underground and we go there through these hollow trees, said Peter. You live underground? Asked John, surprised. Then they all went one by one to the hidden home of Peter Pan. In this secret home, they met the lost boys. Peter introduced the boys to Wendy, John, and Michael. The boys were especially delighted to meet Wendy. Will you tell us stories and be our mother? They asked her excitedly. After thinking for a moment, Wendy agreed. The three children lived in Neverland for some time and were happy. Meanwhile, the evil minded Captain Hook had found out the hideout of the lost boys and Peter Pan. He made a clever plan to capture them. Prepare yourselves. Tonight, we are going to capture Peter Pan and the lost boys, he told the pirates proudly. Back in the underground home, Wendy and her brothers were homesick. So they had decided to return home. We too want to go with you, declared the lost boys. They requested Peter to come with them too, but Peter decided to stay behind. Peter was sad. He went out of the house to spend some time with himself. Meanwhile, the lost boys had stepped out of the hollow trees and ready to leave with Wendy and her brothers. But the next moment, they were all shocked. There stood Captain Hook and the pirates with a wicked smile flashing on their faces. Caught you at last, said Captain Hook, smiling wickedly. Immediately, the lost boys were bound in ropes and taken to the pirate ship. They even caught Wendy. No sooner had the pirates left with their captives, Peter Pan returned. When he saw the empty underground home, he thought that everyone had left. They did not even wait to say goodbye to me, Peter thought sadly. Just then, Tinker Bell flew inside the underground home and said, Peter, Captain Hook has got all the lost boys. Shocked Peter dashed out. Don't worry, Tinker Bell, I will save them, said Peter and ran towards the pirate ship. Meanwhile, the lost boys were in trouble on the pirate ship. Get ready to walk the plank, said Captain Hook, smiling. The next moment, Hook heard something that made him turn as white as a sheet. Tick, tick. It was the ticking of a clock. Hide me, said Hook, frightened. Now the ticking sound was made by the same crocodile who munched one of Hook's hands wearing a watch. Since then, the crocodile had followed Hook to eat the rest of him. So, whenever Hook heard the ticking sound, he knew that the crocodile was near. However, Hook, in his fear, and the pirates, in their hurry to hide their captain, did not bother to see that the sound was not made by the crocodile at all. Instead, it was Peter who was making the ticking sound. A little later, Peter Pan boarded the ship unnoticed by the pirates. The Lost Boys, however, had seen him. This was indeed very clever of Peter Pan. In no time, Peter unbound all the Lost Boys and Wendy. When the ticking had ceased, Who gathered his courage and commanded, "All right, boys, let's prepare the plank." Hastily, the plank was set up. But the next moment, the Lost Boys gave a war cry and attacked the pirates with their swords and daggers. The pirates were taken by surprise at the sudden attack. A fierce fight broke out between them. Finally, Hook and Peter Pan came face to face. As they fought, Peter pushed Captain Hook towards the edge of the ship. Suddenly, Peter gave Hook a deadly blow with his sword. The next moment, Hook fell down into the sea where the hungry crocodile was waiting for him eagerly. In no time, Hook was dead. Now that the battle was won, it was time for the Lost Boys to return with Wendy, John, and Michael. All of them said their goodbyes to Peter and flew away. Mr. and Mrs. Starling were extremely happy to get back their children and gladly adopted the Lost Boys. "We have missed you so much," said Mrs. Starling with tear filled eyes. Though Peter had not come with them, he often came to meet Wendy.